So the latest issue of V-Jump not only gave us the scoop of what could be the next arc in Dragon Ball Super, but also provided Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 18 from Toyotaro based on an original story from Toriyama as we continue the Future Trunks arc, and there are some very interesting changes in the manga version of the story. But I'll talk about those as we go through the chapter. Early on in the chapter, it covers the meeting between Goku and the Omni King, which is really almost identical to what was said in the anime. Just like in the anime, they end up meeting the Great Priest, the Daishinkai, but in this version, Whis does not refer to him as one of the 5 strongest. He actually says, and I quote, "The Great Priest is the strongest person in this world." Now, I'm not sure what he means by this world, if he means the Omni King's realm, or if he's referring to the entire Dragon Ball multiverse, or if he's talking about just the universe that they're from. It's not really clear, but it seems like Whis' praise for the Daishinkai is much bigger in the manga. In addition to that, there's a conversation where Goku asks Whis if maybe they should hire the Grand Priest to defeat Black for him, but Whis states that no, we angels must remain neutral. So they reveal in the manga that Whis is indeed an angel, just like how they did in the anime, just at a different point. But what I think is fascinating is that we find out that the Great Priest is also an angel. He's not a higher being in the god hierarchy. He's just a lot stronger than Whis, which I thought was very, very interesting. Also, during this conversation, Whis pretty much confirms that outside of training, he never fights. He always stays neutral to everything. So unfortunately, we may never actually see Whis fight in a serious confrontation, even though I really hope that he does. And Whis, of course, tells Goku not to tell the Omni King about the future problem with Black because he might get upset and wipe out the entire universe. So the scene ends up playing out just like in the anime, where Goku meets the Omni King. He calls him Omni-chan and everybody freaks out, and the Omni King just wants a friend, but Goku's a little bit busy with the whole Trunks thing. So the Omni King pretty much says, okay, well, come play with me when you're finished with this whole situation, which leads to Omni King giving Goku the infamous red button, which we know is going to come into play later on. Of course, this leads to a really funny panel where the Supreme Kai just faints. And again, I've always talked about how great of an artist Toyotaro is, and I'm sorry that I wind up repeating myself sometimes on these reviews because I always say that Toyotaro's a great artist, and he really is, and there's not much more for me to say than that, you know what I mean? He's great, and he's getting better. So moving forward with the story to Universe 10, Gowasu is wondering where Zamasu went off to. Well, if you remember from Dragon Ball Super, Zamasu went to Zuno's planet, and he's interrogating everything about the Super Dragon Balls and just being a dick to Zuno, the all-knowing one, just threatening his life, saying he's gonna wipe him out and everything, just being a real genuine douche. And he finds out, of course, that the Dragon Balls cannot be used for one more year, the lifespan of a cockroach. So Beerus meets up with Goku, and then we find out that the friend that Goku was gonna bring to the Omni King, who he promised to bring, Goku has no idea who that's gonna be. So that's interesting that we still don't know who that person might end up being or who Goku had in mind. Of course, if the Omni King finds out that Goku lied to him, it's the end of the world. So Goku wants to investigate the identity of Goku Black, and the first person he thinks of is Kibito. This is a major change from what happened in the anime. So that entire sequence in the anime where Goku Black went back in time and he fought Goku with the time rift and everything, and they fought, and Black destroyed Trunks' time machine and got warped back to the future, and then Goku went to go meet Zamasu, and Zamasu was pissed off because Goku was screwing around with gods. That whole motive is out. This is not in this manga chapter at all. Toyotaro has removed that entire plot point. The whole reason Zamasu is so salty at Goku based on this chapter is from watching GodTube. He probably read the comment section because you know how those can be. So Zamasu's motives are very different in this version, and even though they've been able to avoid the time loop, time paradox whole thing in the manga, it seems a little bit more petty that Zamasu be mad at Goku just because he's friends with a god versus actually meeting Goku and being annoyed. Seems pretty petty, but maybe that's just me. Still though, if you're one of those people who was pissed off at the whole time loop thing, that's been totally wiped away from the manga version. So anyways, fast forward to the story. Goku meets Kaioshin, tells him what's going on in the future. He finds out, and then they go meet up with Kibito. Kibito then fills everybody in on the fact that Zuno contacted the Kaioshin realm to ask them about a rogue Kai from Universe 10 inquiring about the Super Dragon Balls. So Kibito finds out from Zuno and tells everybody else that Zamasu is the guy going around asking weird questions. It is pretty much hammered home in this scene that Goku has never met Zamasu and doesn't know why Zamasu's asking about Goku, but Whis of course figures out quickly that Zamasu must have seen the tournament, and then Trunks quickly figures out, as strange as this may sound, he quickly figures out that it's possible with everybody else that Zamasu switched bodies with Goku and became black. So that whole mystery element that we saw in the anime, that whole like trying to unravel the mystery of who black is, that's done. They pretty much blew their load in manga chapter 18 here and pretty much just told you straight up that, yeah, he probably switched bodies with him. And Vegeta himself even figures out that he used the Dragon Ball. So that whole mystery is pretty much out the window. And it sucks because I really like the fact that Toyotaro was able to fix the whole time loop thing. But the whole sense of kind of drama and urgency and mystery about this arc is pretty much gone in this chapter. There was no real, I guess, story to be told. I'm not really sure why this was changed, but I think the anime actually did it a little bit better. So they continue to talk about the situation, and they talk about the time rings and kind of what they can do, and how the Kaioshin can use time rings to go in between timelines. And one of the things that a lot of people have been pointing out to me throughout the, time this arc was airing was the difference in the color of the Potara. This is brought up in Dragon Ball Super the manga because Whis notices that Goku Black is wearing a different color Potara, and that's a very important clue that Black might actually be a Kaioshin. So again, the whole mystery is just put together a lot quicker and a lot faster in this version. It didn't take 8 or 9 episodes. It was quick and it's done. So we suspect that the Universe 10 Kaioshin's life may be in jeopardy, and Bulma pretty much figures out that Zamasu killed his Kaioshin master, stole the Potara, became a Kaioshin himself, and then used the time ring to go to adult Trunks' world. And Whis pretty much says that the reason why he chose Trunks' future is because the Warriors of Earth and Beerus are alive in the main timeline, and thus Zamasu wouldn't have to worry about them in Trunks' future. And of course, Beerus yells at the Supreme Kai and says, "It's all your fault for dying," which I thought was very funny. So Beerus tells Whis they want to go to Universe 10 and they better beat Zamasu and kill him now before he kills Gowasu. And Kaioshin steps up and he says, well, wait a minute, wouldn't that make another timeline? And Beerus says, well, it doesn't matter. We have to, if we don't do something, everyone's going to be dead. So it's one of those things where they are still using the same timeline theory that Toei put out, where Beerus killing Zamasu did create the alternate timeline where Zamasu ceased existing, but because Goku Black already had the time ring and already went to the future in the original set of events, that never changed. So there's no time loop here, but there's still a little bit of time paradox going on. I've done several videos covering the timeline theory. I'm sure most of you have seen them by now. If you have not, I will leave links down below to how the timeline works in Super. It's the same thing with the manga, just no time loop. That's the only difference. Zamasu still had, animosity against Goku. So anyways, Beerus and Whis decide to go to Universe 10, and we have this really funny scene where Vegeta is rubbed the wrong way because Zamasu wanted a strong body, but he picked Kakarot and not him. I thought that was pretty damn funny and kind of fitting of Vegeta's character. And there's a really funny scene where Vegeta brings up the fact that Monaka won the tournament, so why didn't Zamasu want to change bodies with the Monaka? And Goku says, maybe his nipples are too big. I thought that was funny as fuck. So in this version of the events, while Beerus and Whis go to Universe 10, Goku, Vegeta, Trunks go to the future to go confront Black. And in this version, Bulma goes with them the first time, and there is no Cell time machine. So the entire thing about Black destroying Trunks' time machine and Bulma having to pull out the Cell time machine, that is not in the Dragon Ball Super manga. So Beerus and Whis arrive in Universe 10, and Zamasu's nowhere to be found, but they both agree to wait for him. Then, of course, Black in that weird little cottage, I guess he senses that Goku and the rest of them are there. And then we have the scene that drove everybody completely bananas. The scene where Trunks gives Maya Senzu and kisses her, or puts his lips on her mouth. And just like in the anime, Vegeta inquires that Goku has never kissed his wife, and Goku confirms that yes, he has never kissed his wife despite being married. So no, guys, this is not a Toei change. This is actually in the manga as well. I'm sure some people are going to freak out over that one. So Goku and Vegeta tell Trunks just to chill out with Mai. They're going to go fight him, and if they need his help, they'll come let him know. And Vegeta says if worse comes to worse, Trunks and Mai can take the time machine and go back to the past. And the chapter ends with Goku and Vegeta confronting Black, and Vegeta saying some awesome shit. He says, "Kakarot, let me go first. Beating someone who looks like you will be a thrill." And then the horizontal text says, "Surpassing time, the two Gokus finally meet. The fight for the future starts now." So that's your cliffhanger. Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 19 will continue. Very interesting changes. I like the fact that the whole time paradox, time loop thing has been slightly altered to where Zamasu has heat with Goku no matter what because of his jealousy of the tournament. But I don't like the fact that they skipped over the whole buildup of figuring out who he is. The puzzle is just not there like it was before. But maybe that's just my own brain messing with me. Maybe we already know the outcome, so there was really no need to put all that extra mystery stuff in there. I think the anime supersedes the manga when it comes to that, as well as the Trunks moments with Android 18 and with Gohan. None of those were really in this volume, but this volume was a lot tighter, and you can tell they're speeding through the story. The Goku versus Goku Black fight in the present never happened, so the events are very different. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know what you think about Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 18. All credit goes to Herms for the translations. Thank you. I will talk to you guys down the road.